So we want to go into the lesson today, and the title of our lesson today is Know Thyself. Know Thyself. It's a pleasure to have you all join us for today's class, our Creative Living series. And tonight we'll embark on a journey of self-discovery. Know thyself. Know yourself, I know myself. Self-discovery, we want to explore this timeless wisdom of, like I said, know thyself. From this teaching, we always know that the starting point for everything is ourselves, knowing ourselves, understanding who you are. And there's this ancient saying, tracing back to the Greek philosopher Socrates, serves as a beacon, guiding us towards self-awareness and understanding our nature, understanding our limitations, understanding our potential. Again, we always talk about this potential, this power within. All our classes will always want to remind you that you have so much treasure within you, and we want to learn how to activate that fundamentally for our own use and for the world around us. As we get into tonight's lesson and into these teachings, we also draw inspiration from William Shakespeare, his enduring words in Hamlet, where he says, "This above all, to thy own self be true." Very, very strong, profound statement. To thy own self be true. The worst thing we can do to ourselves is to deceive ourselves. You can deceive everybody around you, but you can't deceive you, the you that you are. This sentiment, akin to Socrates' philosophy, emphasizes the importance of authenticity and integrity. Like I said, I can deceive everybody around, but you can't lie to yourself. Our constant search or quest is how to be true to ourselves. It's some form of alignment, aligning with the truth of who you are. And that's what we gather each time to let us know that we can actually be true to ourselves. It reminds me of religious science because it's definitely a call to introspection, looking within. Because from within, whatever we see on the outside is as a result of what is on the inside, urging us to look within and discover our true selves. Self-discovery, know yourself, is a continuous journey. You can't fully discover yourself. We do it as we align ourselves with the truth. We discover greater things about ourselves. Moving forward in history to the time of Emerson and his essay on self-reliance, we find a similar message. Self-discovery is the starting point for everything. A New Thought tradition encourages us to understand our own character, who you are, your desires, your motivations. What have you come here to do? What is your purpose? As Eckhart Tolle says, awareness is the greatest agent for change. Think about this. Self-awareness. You have to know yourself to change. If you're living a false life, you change on the basis of that falsehood. We want to identify, know who we are before we can change. It's like the bedrock, the foundation for every change. This is who I am. And the basis of this knowing, you now step out into change, you walk into change. Self-awareness is a catalyst for personal growth and transformation. Remember, when we come to a realization of who we are, we can attract things based on that knowing, based on that change. If you're living a lie, you also attract those things, and you're attracting the things that that on the basis of a false presentation of who you are. So we always want to be true to ourselves. This knowledge leads to a better understanding of how you react to different situations, what you value in life, and what your goals are. Always, if you think about it, really, if you don't know yourself, how would you go about fulfilling purpose? You probably won't even know your purpose. Change will be a difficult thing because it will seem like you're wearing a mask. In a broader sense, it's about gaining insight into your own nature and the essence of your being. Very important. One of the things that drive every individual is purpose. And you won't know your purpose if you don't know who you are. The essence of your being. What have I come here to be? Within these treasures, this power, we have our different talents and giftings. You have to know who you are before you can work towards achieving that which you have been blessed with. It's really getting to know what's going on the inside of you, your heart, your head, your heart. What's going on there? Again, one other great thing about this truth, the teaching, is that the truth would always lead us to identifying who we are. Because there's no way you come in line with the truth that you won't see the clear picture of who you are. So it's about taking the time to think deeply about your thoughts, your feelings, and why you do the things that you do. In trying to understand who we are, our true nature comes purpose, obviously. And the understanding of our connection to a force greater than us and which we are part of. We are one, we are connected to the great universe, the great one is within us, and we are part of it. Imagine there is this huge, amazing force out there and in here, something way bigger than anything you've ever thought of. If you can just imagine it. Great power, great force, operating is in operation 24/7. Bigger than anything that anyone has ever thought of. A hidden energy that connects everything in the universe. And amazingly, you are part of it. You are part of it, I'm part of it. You are part of this energy. And we are all part of it. And like we said in our earlier lessons, when we realign ourselves to this universal source energy, there is flow, there is harmony, there is clarity, there is understanding. And on the basis of that, there is clarity of purpose. You know who you are. It becomes clearer. And we partake of this universal strength energy always. So understanding yourself is about discovering that you are a spiritual entity and living in a spiritual world. There's actually nothing mundane about our life because we are spiritual beings having this life here. Like we say, every individual possesses a spark of the divine, and our true self is spiritual and fundamentally good. Every other thing apart from good happening is a deviation. And that's why we constantly always want to realign ourselves to that truth. Because every other thing, there are distractions. And that is what this teaching will always do. It always will remind you of who you are. And once you hear who you are, you walk towards getting in alignment with the truth of who you are. And that's why we always talk about monitoring our thoughts, the tendencies of our thoughts. Once they want to deviate, remember you can't change it. It's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. It's like you take your eyes off the focus. When you remember, oh, this is my focus, this is my target, I want to focus on that. Because when you focus on the target, there will be a clear understanding of who you are. So understanding oneself involves recognizing these divine aspects and realizing that we are more than the physical bodies and material experiences. Like I said, the within, the spiritual, controls the outward, the outside, your spiritual being. And our goal always is to understand that we are more than this body. Ernest Holmes was very clear when he said, there is power for good in the universe. And this energy that's everywhere, and it's in everyone and anyone, and you can use it. It's available. It does not sleep. It does not slumber. Anytime you wake up, it's there, waiting to be reactivated. 24/7. Anytime you knock, it would answer. It's there. Ours is to use it, work it. So, and our classes here, it's for us to learn how to use that power. When we understand that this power is there, we learn how to use it, we come to a full understanding, full picture, full knowing of who we are. Because our best definition of who we are, it's in the knowing and using that power, aligning ourselves with source. So self-knowledge is important, knowing yourself and knowing that you are one with this ultimate energy. It's so much comfort and confidence when you understand the truth of this. Like I said, you knock on it, if you call it, it will answer. It's there, it's within. Knock, it will open, seek, you'll find. It's there always. And one other thing is that once we come to this understanding, so many other things in our lives that seem crooked would be sorted out. There will be healing. There will be direction in everything. There's wisdom with understanding who you are and connecting from the power that we are all part of. So just imagine if you could wake up every day and really understand that connection. We always talk about it. Anytime we're in a situation, if we can all quiet ourselves or think through it and come from a place of connection. Before we do some things, before we speak, it's always important that the best place to come from is that place of connection. Connection with source, connection with power. If you could feel it and you could realize that you are one with it, just imagine realizing that you are an inlet and an outlet of this creative intelligence. Even if it's just what we can get from this lesson today, that you are the whole bit, you are the totality of this power is within you. Ours is to know, to understand, and work it and activate it. It's there waiting for you to use it for your own good. So imagine waking up every day and keeping the memory of that going through the day. Nobody has assured us that everything would work as planned. There'll be times when it may not be the way you want it, turbulent times, situations may arise. But whenever they come, you remember who you are, who you're connected to, what you have within you. It to give you such confidence, and you come from that place of knowing. It's so important always when we come from a place of knowing that before you even get into a situation, victory is assured. To know that in every situation you have a power that is above all, universal power, universal energy at your disposal, waiting for your command. Your words are powerful. Speak anything and it would come to pass. Our words are powerful. We have creative power. So in your mind saying, coming from that place, I am one with the one. If you develop this knowledge and nurture it, you can heal yourself of anything, emotionally, spiritually, and live a much more fulfilling life. And what is this knowledge? That you know who you are in line with the great universe, with God. And coming from that place of connection in all situations. So when we have this type of self-knowledge, everything in a way becomes holy. You understand that every person you meet and every encounter you have, it's a holy encounter. Of course, if you have the magnitude of the power within you, everything you do, it's holy. Everywhere you go is holy. Your encounter is holy because you're a spiritual being. You begin to operate with a deep awareness that that your external reality is a reflection of what lives within. You're guided by that power within. You're directed by it. Your steps are ordered by it. So in this teaching, we come to understand that we are cause to our own experience. With this knowledge, we can turn it all around. Yes, you can. If things are not working the way you want it, you can just stop it. We've learned how to control our thoughts. The words we speak are powerful. We've learned how to speak the right words at the right time. So we want to always wake up to this every day. You wake up knowing who you are. You wake up with gratitude. You wake up knowing that it's another good day. Even when everything around is not what you want to see, it's uncomfortable, seemingly dark. From that place of connection, you will see light and focus on it. And whatever you focus and direct the energy from would grow, will expand. So we want to remember and come always from this place of understanding, from this place of self-knowledge. We're talking about know thyself. So if you know yourself and know things are not the way they should be, we want to rechannel and come from the place of connection, a place of knowing that we are one with God, we are one with universe. There is peace, there is joy, and there's no one to argue with. There's acceptance. Because we know that eventually everything is working out for our own good. That's coming from a place of connection. So tonight we are reminding ourselves of some of these great facts. We want to explore and embrace the depths of our true self. You often hear us say this is a spiritual journey. Reverend Greg will always say it's a journey without a distance. That's going within and pulling out those deep treasures and using it for our own good. Everything that you need, like we say, for life and living and godliness is within us. This is the starting point of all wisdom, just like Aristotle, following the footsteps of Socrates, believed. The first step to wisdom is what? Know thyself. First step to wisdom is know yourself. Know yourself. So if you don't know yourself, what is wisdom? Applied knowledge. If you don't know yourself, how would you be wise? First step to wisdom is know thyself. And we talked about being true to ourselves, being our authentic self. This teaching, when we listen and practice it, we begin to understand ourselves, that we are spiritual beings, that we have so much power at our disposal that we can use. And when we come from that place of connection, we can always step out knowing that things will unfold perfectly for our own good. So when we start looking within, harnessing this treasure, and learning how to use it, we begin to understand who we are, basically. We hear this teaching that you are complete, you're the whole bit, and you begin to practice it. You wake up, affirm it, I'm whole, I'm complete, I'm abundant, and you fill your being with that. You begin to manifest that, because you're feeling the totality, and whatever you feel your being and speaking to being, you attract always. So you might wonder, is it possible to really know ourselves, even just a little bit? Absolutely. Absolutely. From what we learn here, the answer obviously is yes, because our journey of self-discovery and understanding is endless. If we put our mind to it and hear this teaching daily, often we begin to know things, greater insights of who you are, of what is available to you, of what you can do, of what you can achieve. Often we learn how to do affirmative prayer and we notice, oh my God, my thinking is changing, my life is changing. You begin to see demonstrations. Because fundamentally there's a change in our mindset, in our thoughts. When those negative thoughts come, because you not know, you will nip it up in the bud early. You do not water it, you do not feed it. You cut it off, you nip it up, and begin to fill yourself with positivity, with positive thinking. And what happens once we are constantly doing that, we'll see a demonstration. We'll see ourselves moving from good to greater good. We witness abundance, health, because the totality of our being is positive. It's like sowing a seed. And once we sow that seed of positivity, we'll definitely bear fruits. So this is the way it works, because we are part of something much bigger, a divine universal consciousness that keeps growing and expanding within us and everywhere. So as we learn to think more highly of ourselves, and as we expand our vision of ourselves and of the world itself, when we start to really see that it's all divine, we are preparing to enter a different way of living, the affirmative living. What's affirmative living? You're living from that place of connection. You're seeing the good in everything. You're learning how to change every negative thoughts with positive one. We do our affirmations. For every situation that comes our way, we'll get an affirmation to counteract that. We are always, with these new lenses, seeing the good in every situation. You're overwhelmed, but you're saying, in this, only good would come. We're talking about knowing ourselves. And we're knowing that this good has always been there for those who have the eyes. And that is one thing the teaching will always bring us to know that we have this good. And we can use it always for our own good. It's almost like knowing ourselves is like peeling an onion. Layer by layer, we find more and more about ourselves, uncovering deeper truths as we practice living positively. You just discover things happening. Oh, I'm able to do this. Oh, I never could do this. Oh, you just find out that, oh, I used to have pain here, but because I've been living affirmatively, confessing and professing positivity, I don't feel this anymore. Oh, this used to be a challenge. It's no longer a challenge for me. So, and that is another thing we always talk about on Thursdays, about seeing the glass from half empty to half full. From which angle do you see it? Rev Greg has been facilitating this Thursday class for many years. He's passionate about people discovering their true self. And I know he believes Louise is one of the best at making this happen. It's actually the best gift we can give ourselves, to be true to yourself. Living our true self. Know thyself. Know these hidden treasures within is waiting to be activated. Ernest Holmes once said, life is a journey, not a destination. Just like I used the onions. As we come into this teaching and practice it, we just keep discovering greater things, new things about ourselves. Each step along the way, it's an opportunity for self-discovery and personal growth. So when the challenge comes, we see it as an opportunity to discover great things, new things about ourselves. This reminds us that the understanding of ourselves is a never-ending, limitless process. Every experience and phase in life is a chance to learn more about ourselves, to grow, to evolve. It's a constant thing. We are constantly evolving. Taking up the old, taking new things, doing great things. And that is why we say there are no mistakes in our life. Everything, like we know and we say, is an orchestration by the divine to bring us to where we are. It's an orchestration by the divine to make you understand things that you can do, things that are available to you. It's not meant to destroy you at all. So how do you know yourself? Why is it important? If you don't know who you are, you'll have no idea where you want to go to. That's just straightforward truth. If you don't know who you are, how would you know your direction? Probably be going the wrong direction. Knowing yourself is like having a compass that guides your path in life. I know what I want to do. So if I see people of like mind, I know because we have the same mission and I walk towards that. Because that's what I know that I want to do. If I see one that is not in line with what I want, I obviously will move away from it. So we need to know ourselves. It's like a compass, it will direct us. It helps us make decisions and understand our reactions and find our purpose. That's very clear. We want to take time out in nature, possibly meditation, in writing, to help us figure out the things that give you most joy. It's another way of finding out. What are you good at? What are you passionate at? What are you best at doing? Spirit, again, would always guide us if we allow it. That's very important, if we allow it, because it's always there prompting us. If we allow it, then Spirit will guide us. When you know yourself and have a greater sense of your connection with Source, you are not just wandering around, living in so much reaction. you will notice you are coming from a deeper and more connected space or place. Period. That's just so true. I mean, when you see things that around you, just, oh, I'll let it go. Not today. I'm way above this situation. And we'll always constantly, from this connection, discover beauty, strength, wisdom that lie within each of us. Always, always, always. I like a quote from Marianne Williamson says, "Joy is what happens to us when we allow ourselves to recognize how good things really are." So let that be an intention tonight, that will find way to joy. Another way of finding joy is when we realign with Source, understand and work towards becoming our true self, our authentic self. It's joy, it comes from within, it flows. We want to challenge ourselves to see the good, always bring ourselves back to truth. I mean, every falsehood, we can take it off like cloak. This is not who you are. And begin to work towards identifying your true self. You might think of it like finally tuning your radio to the right station and hearing your favorite music play. You will always know it. Just like when you're in a situation and you say the truth, you will feel some relief, some comfort. Oh, I'm in my right place. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. There's harmony within when we know ourselves. There are no conflicts. Imagine your action and your beliefs dancing together in perfect rhythm. That's the kind of inner peace you can achieve when you come to a realization of who you really are. Another thing that also happens is that when you know who you are, whatever that is happening around does not really stir you. You're in your zone, you're comfortable, your skin. Shakespeare was onto something when he said, "To thy own self be true. To thy own self be true." That's all. Creating harmony, releasing the need to argue, to fight about, and this is just who I am. I've told you, this is who I am. I don't have to pretend or repent. This is James. This is all I am. And I don't have to be apologetic about who I am. This is who I am. This is who I've come here to be. So harmony is a secret ingredient to peaceful life. Knowing yourself well helps you make smarter choices. Obviously. Oh, this road, it will lead me to my destination or where I want to go to, so I cancel it. It's like having a GPS for your life. You will always know which way to turn. Deepak Chopra puts it beautifully. The more you know yourself, the more clarity there is. Self-knowledge has no end. You don't come to an achievement. You don't come to a conclusion. It's an endless river. The more you know yourself, the more clarity there is. And how best to know yourself, or better than realigning yourself with this truth, coming from that place of connection. It's a journey that keeps on giving, helping you see everything more clearly. With self-knowledge, you gain the power to resist harmful habits. It's just like having your mission statement or your target. Everything that wouldn't lead you to that place, you just cut it off. Again, like I said, Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Wisdom is like a shield protecting you from choices that don't serve you well. And here is the kicker. When you are clear about who you are less influenced by others' opinions and expectations. Period. I hear what you're saying, but this is who I am. Those things won't influence all those pressures won't affect you. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. I am that I am. I am who I am. It's like wearing an invisible suit of armor that keeps you true to yourself no matter what. So let's get into that. Let's get into being ourselves. Let's get into being who we are. Knowing yourself. Knowing yourself is so much important. It gives so much direction. So I like to just, from lyrics from Jessie J's song, don't lose who you are in the blur of the stars. Seeing is deceiving, dreaming is believing. It's okay not to be okay. Sometimes it's hard to follow your heart. Tears don't mean you're losing, everybody bruising. Just be true to who you are. Just be true to who you are. There's a question here by Charles Bukowski. Can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? Sometimes we've gotten used to being another person for a long time. For a long time, we've so perfected being a different person. But no matter how long that has been, this teaching would always bring us to alignment, to that understanding. There will be a clarity within you to get back to your true self. Always. This isn't just about roles you play in life. It's about discovering the raw, unfiltered you. And once you get that, you owe nobody apology, because that is your true self, your authentic self, who you have been created to be. A little food for thought. Who you are today is probably worlds apart from who you were 10 years ago. That's the beauty of self-knowledge. It evolves. Going to round up because of our time. So I'll get to this. Think of your knowing yourself, knowing thyself, like an iceberg. What we see on the surface, our daily lives, our habits, our likes, our dislikes, is just a small part of that. Underneath the water, there's so much bigger parts of the iceberg that's hidden. That's like the deeper, more eternal part of us that's connected to everything in the universe. It's a journey worth taking because it can change how you see yourself and the world, and leading you to a happier, more meaningful life. We are always on to self-discovery. When we discover really what we have within us, that we are spirit beings, that we have so much power within us that we can use. On that basis, from that place of connection, would come to full understanding, full realization of who we really are. And then we'll see so much demonstrations in every area of our life. And so it is.